Hello and welcome to Board Stupid. My name's Wayne.
And I'm Matt.
And it's time for another And we don't get ready to rumble.
You cannot get ready to rumble.
Because that's a protected franchise phrase. Can't say it. But we can get ready to tell you about all these amazing crowdfunded games.
Yes, that are live or just about to go live, or
you can go back to this,
or something that is very cool.
Yeah,
and we try to pick up stuff that is normally not the mega publicized and stuff. So some kind of like hidden gems that we think are really cool. So hit the subscribe button.
Find out about those.
Done it.
Good.
And don't rumble, but
get maniacal. Let's go.
Rolling dice, feeling nice, cardboard dreams and game schemes. Click subscribe, it's a vibe. Board Stupid's all we need. Board Stupid, game reviews for you and me. Board Stupid, here's what you should play and see.
Okay, well, for the first one, we got something that is quite close to our heart.
It is.
Because it's a game that we saw from the principle, that we love it, and it's finally live right now on Kickstarter.
You can go and back it.
It's already founded. He found it in a few minutes, but we want to talk to you about it because it's absolutely great. And it is
Neon Hope. Neon Hope we've talked about a couple of times on the channel because we absolutely fell in love with it when we saw it for the first time. It was our top surprise at Spiel.
Yeah, at Spiel last year.
And it's a cooperative, story-driven card game where you are going to be playing in a solar/cyberpunk world using hand management with this very interesting system and this threat system using this cool matrix, which is really, really fun. It takes concepts from games like Eldritch Horror, that's right, Arkham Horror, the card game, Earthborn Rangers, and Marvel Champions, that sort of stuff, but done in a much cleaner way.
Yeah, it's a more streamlined, accessible way to approach this kind of like living card games. It's not that, oh my god, I need to learn a million. It's way streamlined. Again, this is cyberpunky, cool world.
Cool European theme as well, like cyberpunk Berlin.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And the story, again, you got story that branches in different way depending on the choices that you make.
Super nice fail forward as well.
Yeah, it's super cool. We fell in love. We got the proper preview that we're gonna link up there. But definitely, this is a game that you guys must go and have a look at because we think it's gonna be a big hit. Or at least it was a big hit for us.
It was a big hit for us. Yeah, exactly. Big hit for us. So go check that out.
Neon Hope.
Okay, Matt. The next game, I think, shook you almost to your very foundations.
Yes, because we're talking about Foundation from Creardo. Italian guys. Yeah. And this is Foundation takes a lot of inspiration from the Asimov books. So if you like that world, that sci-fi world that Asimov wrote, like, well, it's 100 years ago.
Oh, wow.
No, not 100 years, but it's kind of like for the fan is a big thing, and it's very interesting. So you got this kind of like at the first looks like a 4X.
Looks like Eclipse.
Or fractal or something like that. However, the game itself is actually at its core is exploration deck building game with a lot of like resource management. It's way more Euro than what it looks like.
Okay.
And again, it's got a beautiful artwork.
Yeah, it looks like a great production. Absolutely amazing.
It was presented at Bologna Play. That is the think about the Italian version of the Gen Con or UKG. It's a very big one with all the Italian publishers like Ludus Magnus and Horrible Guild. That is their own turf. And it's been presented there. And I was looking looking at a few videos for some. It looks absolutely amazing. I did read the book when I was a kid, so I'm kind of like very interesting, and it looks absolutely stunning. So
Nice.
and looks like a 4X. It's more of a Euro. Yes, for me.
There you go.
That's what I'll say.
That's
so
foundation, mate.
foundation, not of anything. It's just foundation.
Full stop.
Next one, Wayne. We got a game that our preview could be already out.
Could be.
Maybe not.
We'll see.
It
We'll
depends
see some-
how travels in time, because it could go back and forward in time.
What segue?
And we're talking about
Trouble on the Tempus, which is an independently published and designed game. It's a cooperative game
Yep.
where you are trying to deal with a spaceship falling to pieces around your very being. It's a fabulous thing because it takes those standard crisis management
Yeah.
concepts that you might know from games like Pandemic and other games like that, but utilizes this fun time travel system where everything will go wrong, you will probably die in space, but your ship has a time drive.
Yeah.
So you can hit the reset button, try again with the full knowledge of
what's
what
going to
happened.
happen. Yeah, because
Brilliant.
it works like in Pandemic, your crisis
Deck where something will happen every round.
So you each turn you get a new card. However, when you reverse time, all those cards are going exactly in the same position
Back on
back.
top.
So you kind of like need to try to remember what
yeah.
happened and getting ready. And every time you go back in time, you will keep all the equipment that you acquired.
So it gets slightly
So you
better.
got knowledge, you got items, and you need to try every time to beat the game that is gonna like be like scenario based. So every time it's gonna be different with different character, with different powers.
Different crisis.
Um,
It's real fun.
yeah, we're lucky to play like an early copy,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's real fun. Yeah, and quite an amazing achievement. The rulebook was amazing. The rules were super clean, and not to mention the paradoxes, which are hilarious and brilliant.
But you can't mess with
Can't
time
mess
too
with time.
much, so-
Something will go
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
And there's a whole system in the game for that. Very thematic, very well
Yeah.
done. Yeah, I think this is really cool and certainly worth checking out and certainly worth your time.
Yeah, it should be out probably
Around
May
now, if not
or-
already.
Yeah, so we'll leave the links down in the description.
But you can go
So
see.
definitely have a look. And when our review is live, whenever forward or back in time, we'll put a link.
Time is confusing.
It's really confusing, but Trouble on Tempus,
Go check
Ground
it.
Down Days in Space.
Space. Matt, next up on this month's Crowdfund Mania, what have we got?
We got Exotera.
This looks cool.
Exotera is a co-op strategic combat games where you got your big mech.
Yeah.
And not the big mech. Big mechs.
Mechs.
Like
No, yeah, not
like
Big Mac.
Gundam. And
Big
that
Mech.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to have a big mech inside a big mech.
You
that
could
would be
do.
Pretty cool.
That would be pretty sweet.
But basically, this game is a cooperative campaign game where you take in the role of a pilot of this like big robot, giant robot, and fighting against all the baddies.
Yeah,
basically.
and you're working together.
And there's very cool things about like they got this hexagonal map where you're
Yep.
gonna move around. Everything is all the art style looks very anime,
anime.
Gundam-y, but I'm talking about the 80s Gundam,
Gundam, nice.
and all that stuff, and mix it together with the deck building.
Yeah.
So you can build your robot as you want,
Nice.
and there is this kind of like a push your luck because if you ever played like old like mecha games back in the 90s, your mech will have different stats, but you kind of like can lower your shield or have more firepower, but then you're gonna be more susceptible to damage.
Yeah, or vice versa.
Or you can move faster but can't really shoot. So
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. It looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, with some fun interactive map stuff going on as well.
Yeah,
Some
it's
real
got like
cool
I'm
looking
a
game.
Gundam like fan of all that stuff, like big mech. Who doesn't love a giant robot? I love giant robots. When I
pretty
saw the
sweet.
one in Tokyo, I was crying.
Send me a picture with
But
his
yeah,
picture.
so again, Exotera sounds mega interesting. I definitely got my eyes on this.
Definitely. And as a co-op game, this sounds super fun. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, Exotera. All right, Wayne, last one for this month, Crowdfund Mania.
Yes.
It's a game from a designer that we really admire.
Yeah, we do.
That came out this year with Aeterna, that we think is probably game of the materials.
It's real good.
And he's got his new game coming out on Gamefound. That is not in Rome. It's not in Birmingham. It's not in Lancashire. It's in space.
It's in space.
And we're talking about
Casus Belli.
from Mr. Martin Wallace.
Yeah, absolutely. Published under his own company now.
Yeah,
Wallace,
yeah, that's
Wallace
what's
Designs,
quite a-
which is
yeah,
pretty cool. Yeah,
I think,
taking
yeah.
a dip into that. So Martin Wallace is a bit of a legend, and made some games that I absolutely adore, and Matt as well. And he's taking his design principles and putting a spin on the classic deck builder. Where you're utilizing your deck of cards to then explore space, like we've seen in a couple of games,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, but done in a interesting way, because Martin Wallace does things quite interestingly.
It never done dull things.
Never done
It's
anything
just-
boring, always highly
yeah.
interactive. So this game, you are going to be playing slightly asymmetric factions, and your factions will be in alliances with other factions, and they will be set based on who you are. And the game may or may not break out in war.
Yeah.
Right. There is like I suppose a crisis meter that will go up during various events of the game. People can push it up if they want to, and they may be inclined to if they are warmongering. And if they do, your alliances might change, which is really fun. The way that it uses deck building is really interesting as well. You've got a space in your player board. I think it's called the ROM or the RAM. One of those two, the ROM or the RAM.
Got something like that.
You have a space to basically fix the problem that you normally have with deck building games, which is when you draw a duff hand of cards and you're like, I don't know what to do with this, and you chuck them in the trash.
Yeah.
That gives you a place to basically temporarily hold some cards, and you can hold them there, and then they will form part of your hand in the new sort of phase.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And then there's another section where you can play cards that will have ongoing passive effects to grow your asymmetry and grow your powers over time. So this is super interesting, that the way that uses deck building, the way it has this interesting evolving alliance system, and a game that may or may not end up breaking out in war and everyone competing, or otherwise it might just be a race for victory points. And
Yeah,
that it gives tension. And I think he does tension very well.
Well, that's what Martin Wallace does perfectly.
Yeah.
Is to create that silver lining of tension.
Feeling tense the whole game. Something might happen.
And it looks like it's going to space for him is
Interesting.
is very interesting.
Love
with the
it.
map of the galaxy. So you will have like
Different
movements
places
around
to go
the-
and control,
yeah.
and try and take over different territories, go for different resources.
I mean, even not knowing much, being a Martin Wallace games, we got our antennas like bing, yeah, because
super keen on this one. This one sounds super good.
Are you gonna back it?
I'm going to back it, probably.
He's gonna
I don't ever back games, so I might back this one.
He's gonna back it.
All right, Matt.
Casus Belli.
So that was another body slamming, suplexing, crowdfund mania.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Amazing.
gosh, it never ends, mate. The amazing run of games coming to crowdfunding, and I love seeing some of the independent stuff like we've seen already in this episode.
Yeah.
As well as some
We've
of
got
the
quite a few on this one. Again,
Yeah.
we're trying to bring you not the usual names, or not the big names that you can find out now. You got some big games that are live at the moment. I got my eyes on a couple of them, but these are the ones that we think are cool.
Shine a light on them.
Yeah, exactly. Now again, we're not saying to you to buy or whatever.
Ever.
It's just
Check it out.
have a look, and especially with all the tariff and stuff, we don't really know what's gonna happen now. The price are gonna change, what the effects are gonna be, but those games were already ready to launch, so at least have a look. But again, always do your due diligence
Back
about
responsibly.
Yeah, exactly. Spend your money wisely.
Do you know where they can spend it? That would be really wise.
You know, and you want to know a little bit more about what we think about all this tariff situation, click on the Patreon.
Go and check it
You
out.
go check it out. You buy us a coffee, and you can access a lot of exclusive content.
Absolutely, lots of that. So go check that out. Other than that, you can body slam the subscribe button. Just slap that real hard. Exactly. Give that a pile drive. Check out the rest of our videos, and we'll see you at the next one.
Ciao.
Game reviews for you and me. Here's what you should play and see.